This is the PC that I tend to use for different tests or projects and was even used for every virtualization video so far. But it has an i5-6500, so I thought, why not throw an i7 in it? The problem is, as I understand it, the i5-6500 was the highest spec CPU that you could get with this model, stock from Dell. So would an i7 even work? And if so, would it even be worth it? The CPU I picked up is an i7-6700. The 6700 has a 4 GHz top speed, hyperthreading, more cache, and a slightly higher clocked iGPU, but both have the same TDP, and would have only cost approximately $100 more back then. So why not? I have to hand it to them. Dell finally got their crap together with these PCs. They're super easy to work on, great airflow, and this one I actually once used as a temporary virtual server that wound up running for a few years, but with zero problems. So with the new CPU installed, is there a huge difference between the two? And is it even worth it? Well, let's find out. Well, first, if we try 7-zip, the i7 was able to finish compressing 23 seconds sooner. Now, as you'll see later, there's definitely a bottleneck here as other CPUs finished in similar times, probably a memory bandwidth issue. Now, I ran Handbrake twice. This first comparison is just CPU encoding, and well, both did pretty well, all things considered. The i7 averaged about 18 FPS faster than the i5 and finished 4 minutes sooner. That's about a 34% difference. And as you know, with things like video encoding, every little bit helps. But when we go to the QSV mode, there's only about a 20% difference. Still, both encode far faster than the CPU alone, but you can definitely see that the i7's iGPU is only clocked slightly higher than the i5, and therefore the end results are a bit closer. Running Cinebench first in single-threaded mode shows the i7 pulling ahead, and it finishes about a minute 20 sooner. Not a huge amount, but it is faster. In multi-threaded mode, it again pulled ahead by almost the same amount, this time by a minute 17. So in processing, it's not night and day, but how do they compare with their integrated GPUs? Well, in heaven, the i7 pulled ahead slightly, averaging about 4 FPS faster. Both seem to have the same frame time trends and everything, and all in all, they seem to perform about the same. If we step it up just a bit to 1080 in Superposition, the i7 again performed better, but only slightly, averaging about a fraction of an FPS higher. Now this one is interesting. In Unreal Tournament 3, both did okay, but the i5 averaged slightly higher. I ran this multiple times and even swapped CPUs back just to see, and yeah, they performed about the same, but the i5 always pulled slightly ahead, and I do mean slightly. Remember, the i7 is clocked higher with a higher clocked iGPU as well, yet the slower one wins? Tells me that there's a bottleneck somewhere, and again, it's probably the memory. So maybe there's a reason Dell never offered the CPU in this computer. In Destroy All Humans, again, both perform about the same, with the i7 averaging about 1 FPS higher. Really though, in playing the game, both felt exactly the same. Something a bit older, Fallout New Vegas, set to medium at 720, and really, it played and looked great. Okay, yeah, it may not be 120 FPS, but still, for an iGPU set to medium, it looks fine. And both performed about the same, with the i7 averaging slightly higher. GTA 4, yeah, this is such a cluster. But it's always fun to see how various hardware works with it or makes do. For this one, both performed about the same. Even though the i7 scored a higher average frame rate, the i5 just felt better to play. Now, I ran the benchmark since the frame rates were far lower than 60. And yeah, the i7 averaged higher, but again, the i5 just felt better to play. Now GTA 5. In the benchmark, they scored essentially the same. But in the game itself, the i5 again felt better to play. I lost the footage while I was editing this together, but the i5 loaded things faster and just, again, all around felt better with far less input lag. I'll let the last part of the benchmark run, just so you can see the difference.
Man, you got off lucky, homie. You will die!
Now, when I was making the graphs for this video, I needed some other data to, compare these CPUs to. So I chose the Ivy Bridge test I ran earlier. And we can see that, like before, the i5 Skylake performed about the same as the i7 Ivy Bridge, where the i7 Skylake pulled ahead, but not by a huge amount. With the 3D tests, yeah, the Skylake chips did perform better, but they also had a newer iGPU. I think if I ran this again on the same hardware but used a proper GPU, the results would have been much closer together. It seems like the biggest benefit to upgrading from Ivy Bridge to Skylake was its efficiency. As far as comparing the i5-6500 to the i7-6700, yeah, the 67 seemed faster, but would it have been worth the extra price back in the day? Probably not. Even today, if I had to, I could easily get by just using the i5. Being that these are older and they're super cheap to find today, why not upgrade? In this PC, it's an improvement, but not a big one. Now, I want to try this on a better motherboard just to see if the memory or something on this board is the bottleneck. However, from everything I've seen and heard, I'm thinking that what you see is what you get. But we'll find out. If you want me to go there, and let me know, and I'll see what I can find and what I can come up with. As always, if you're still here, thank you, and let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.